Hey everyone, this is Casual Fanatic.
Film reviews without the shoes.
I'm Luca, your casual viewer.
And I'm Cayman, your fanatic. How's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, just chilling. Snowed a bit last night, which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, what the heck? Where would that come from?
I was on the phone with my friend, and he was like, "Oh, you're enjoying all the snow up there?" I was like, "I don't know, it doesn't snow that much." 10 minutes later, started snowing. I was like, "Well,
Actually, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. I was like debating whether or not to go out with some friends to like some country dance place called the Grizzly Bear. No, the Grizzly Rose. The Grizzly Rose. Uh, and then like I like looked at the weather. I looked outside. It was like freezing cold and snow. I'm not doing that. Nope, nope. So I stayed in.
nice."
Um, yeah, weird. The weather is just bipolar as hell. Yeah.
And we got hail season coming up here soon, so
Which I'm not excited about.
yeah.
Um,
I was looking into, you were telling me about that like cover thing, that inflatable thing you can put over your car.
yeah.
It's like $500.
Is it really that much?
It might be worth it, but like that's expensive.
That's so expensive.
I mean, it's still less than repairing hail damage.
God, man. I don't know. My car also now sits outside
Yeah.
with no cover. But maybe things can now change because as of maybe an hour ago, I own one motorcycle.
Oh, you sold the other one.
I sold my other motorcycles, yeah, to a buddy of mine actually.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like a little bit of a heartbreak for me, but hey, I've had it since, man, like maybe sophomore year of high school, and it's been a pavement princess ever since, and he's actually going to use it to like ride in Moab and do things with it, which is what it's meant to be used for, so very happy for that.
So a little bit of extra room in your garage now.
I have, yeah. I got rid of a huge chunk of space now, so I can maybe try to like rearrange shit and fit my car in there, but it's gonna be a tight squeeze.
I mean, it's tough to figure out something for Kaylin's car.
Yeah, I mean, so it's weird. Like I mean, she's been living here, for like I don't know how many years now.
Yeah.
She's never had like covered parking with her car, and
She's gotten lucky.
her car has just been fucking hailed on, and it's fine.
Wild.
I know.
I was like looking at other people on the Denver subreddit and seeing like what other people's strategies were. A lot of people just like keep a bunch of moving blankets and they'll just like throw their own blankets on top of their car.
That's pretty smart. Yeah. Just get a thick blanket like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out something too, because this is the first time that it's actually outside here in Colorado. So, yeah, I don't know. That's TBD. But besides all these fun things, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about the 2024 movie, The Substance. It is directed by Coralie Farge, also written by her, and stars Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid. Had estimated budget of $17.5 million, and it's made a little over $77 million.
Wow.
So not bad.
Dang, that's nuts.
I believe this also premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, and it also won the Oscar for Best Makeup. So,
If you watch the movie, or if you have watched it, you'll understand why. Unbelievable.
yeah.
Award well deserved.
So what did you think about The Substance?
I mean, very fun watch, honestly, like entertaining / like I said, like I have like this thing where I just like somehow like get too emotionally involved in like things like this, and like it makes me feel weird.
Okay.
So I actually watched the movie this morning, and I feel weird. And KK like looked at me, she goes, "I don't know why, Cam, and you decided to watch this movie, but I know you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna feel good watching it."
Did she watch it
Or
with you?
afterwards, she had already seen it.
Oh.
And
When did she watch it?
I guess she told me that she watched it when she knew that I wouldn't be in the house. and because she was like, I know you wouldn't like it, and I know it would affect you in like some adverse way that you wouldn't like it, so she planned it when I wasn't there to watch.
Was she right about that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, dude. I don't know. I like it was a great movie. Very well shot. Good like partially good storyline, I would think. Good overall meaning to the movie. But man, something about like those movies, like definitely like at least like psychological kind of movies, they just really I don't know what they do to me. And even if I play like I don't know if you've ever played the game Werewolf with people,
Yep.
where like it's like kind of like Secret Hitler, but just whatever. Dude, I will have nightmares or not nightmares. I will be like restless all night thinking about the game and like how else I could have played it or like who I think could have been the werewolf and that kind of stuff. I'm just like I just dive way too deep. I don't know how to stop it, but yeah. Interesting. Yeah. What do you think about it?
I don't have that relationship with these kind of movies, but I can understand that. I thought this was really good. I thought in the beginning it seemed a little superficial, but the further you get into it, it felt like
More substance.
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to describe, but yes, there's more going on the further into the movie you get.
Yeah, there's more substance that you get the further you get into it. Yeah, it was cool. I don't know. It was a different movie than I've ever seen. I've never heard of a plot like that before. I'd never even thought of it.
Also, very rare for horror movies to get nominated for Oscars.
True. And I feel like it's really rare for horror movies to take place practically in daytime.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie was practically just daytime. There was like no jump scares. There was nothing like that really.
Yeah, it's like it's in the overall genre of horror, this I guess would classify as like it's definitely a body horror. Like you probably haven't seen, but there's a movie from the 80s called The Fly that also is kind of like it's this man, it's some junk happens and he ends up like literally turning into a giant bug.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's also got like some really gross scenery and stuff like that.
As did this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not squeamish or anything like that, but I can see like people that are watching this that don't like either like needles or like body, blood, all that stuff. I could see how so many people would like feel squirmish watching this movie. Luckily, it doesn't really affect me. That doesn't affect me in any type of way. But man, unbelievable what they thought of to like show.
Yeah.
Just nuts.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But if you want to go ahead and give a spoiler warning, we'll get into a summary.
Here we go. Everyone, this is the spoiler section. If you don't want this movie spoiled, especially because it just came out maybe a year ago, don't listen. Go watch it. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Honestly, time passed pretty fast watching this movie. Go watch it, come back, and after you listen to us, let us know what you think.
Came out September 20th. So
Not even a year ago, right? Yeah.
Definitely, if you haven't seen this movie, watch it without watching anything else, because I feel like the less you know, the better. Right. So this movie involves a woman named Elizabeth Sparkle, who was once a famous Hollywood star, but as she has aged, she has become this she runs an exercise show that
In the morning.
yeah, that's like still pretty popular, but like you can see like people aren't really paying it that much attention to her anymore. And then the producer of the show wants to replace her with someone younger, so like puts out an ad in the paper, and she's like feeling really bad about herself. And then one day while she's getting a checkup at the doctor, this kid like secretly slips something into her pocket with a USB drive on it, and she plugs that into her TV, and it like tells her about this thing called the substance, which can make a younger, better version of you. And it keeps on like throughout the video and throughout the whole entire movie, keeps reminding us like, you are one, always respect the balance.
Yeah.
And so she calls the number on the back of the USB drive. makes an order, has to go to this like weird back alley garage thing.
It takes place in LA, correct?
Yeah.
Cali. So, granted, I don't know if it's normal for Cali people to be like, oh yeah, it's a shit looking area. It's fine.
Definitely looked like a place to get robbed.
Right? Especially for someone so rich.
Right.
Like, I was like practically in a penthouse overlooking.
Someone could just like sit around the corner and wait for people to be coming out of there.
Right. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
But she gets this box and it has a bunch of like needles and tubes and shit in it and some instructions. She injects herself with this like weird green liquid, and all of a sudden a fucking like another person bursts out of her that is this younger woman who calls herself Sue. So then Sue goes to this audition to replace Elizabeth on the exercise show, and the the men in this movie are all, well, except for one of them. Most of them are absolutely deplorable.
Yeah.
But just the sleaziest producer.
I like that you said except for one, because it's literally just one.
Right. Yeah, so hires her for this show, and the like rules with the substance are that you have to spend a week in each body. And so she's like, hey, just so you know, I'm only able to be here every other week. And he's like, that's fine, we'll work around it. So she becomes super popular at one point, gets invited to do a New Year's Eve show, which is several months away. But like in the meantime, she keeps like she's staying out late and partying and like hooking up with people, and ends up like needing to spend just a little more time as the young version of herself. And so there's this like stabilizer that she has to use, which is basically like spinal fluid that she is sucking out of the other body and injecting into herself. And every time she stays past the 7 days, it like slowly starts degrading the other version of herself. So then like Elizabeth wakes back up, and then at first she's got like
a fuck up finger.
Yeah, like a old nasty finger with like the most cracked fingernail. It's absolutely nasty. Then it keeps getting worse. She gets like her whole leg gets fucked up at one point, and it's just like, again, going into this body horror. She just like is slowly morphing into this, like eventually she's like fucking Hunchback of Notre Dame, but like 10 times worse. Yeah. Just like literally lost all of her hair. Her rib cage is like visible in her back. She's got her fucking like boobs down to her knees.
Yeah.
So then she's finally like, I can't fucking stand this. Because even though they keep repeating you are one, it turns out Elizabeth and Sue are starting to like view each other as separate people, which I have a couple questions about, but we'll get into that. But like, they're just like keep getting more angry and angry at each other. And so Elizabeth decides that she's just gonna end it. But they tell her every time she calls, they're like, if you end the experience, you won't go back to the way you were. You just have to live how you are now for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And so that holds her back a few times, and then she does end up ordering the like termination kit, which comes with this like black liquid that she shoves into Sue, but she doesn't finish injecting it, and then decides that she can't live without it because she hates herself. And so then tries to switch back, but then something weird happens, and Sue wakes up like at the same time without Elizabeth like going unconscious. And then they have a big fight, and Sue just fucking murders her.
Yeah.
She tries to go to this New Year's Eve thing, but then because she doesn't have the stabilizer fluid anymore, she like her body starts falling apart. And so then she's like losing teeth and fingernails, and an ear falls off. So then she, like in a last ditch effort, runs back home and does another injection of the activator fluid,
which you're only supposed to use once.
Right.
It says it on the bottle.
Yeah. And then literally just a creature comes out of her. And it's like a mixture of both of them. And so like you've got like Elizabeth's face on the back, and then Sue's face is like you can really only see like her eyeball, and then the rest is just like tumors and random body parts. She's got like teeth on her chest and
the arm sticking out her back.
Yeah.
Like Fucked us.
And so she puts her dress back on and goes back to the New Year's Eve thing. And I really don't know how to describe the ending of this movie, but shit gets fucking wild. She, at one point, like, her arm breaks off and she's just spraying a room full of people with blood. And then
So much blood, by the way.
so much
I
blood.
don't know where it's all coming from.
Like, definitely more blood than is in a human being.
Yeah.
And then when she leaves, her leg breaks and she literally just collapses and explodes on the pavement. And then the Elizabeth face like crawls out of the goop back
like an octopus.
back towards her. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she crawls over that and then just like disintegrates into a puddle, and then that gets cleaned up. And that's it.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, it's such a strange movie.
So we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about all that.
Yeah, I don't even know. Overarching theme in this movie, let's just start with that.
Okay.
Is practically like love the aging process. Like, don't be too consumed. I think that's the message, right?
It's like talking about how, especially for celebrities, but like women in general get devalued by society as they get older,
Right.
and it starts to become internalized, and so older women feel themselves as less valuable. And the movie focuses on the female perspective, but there also is, we see a male character in the movie who's also taking the substance. So just like generally, old people are not respected as much, and sort of exploring that. And there is a scene with that old guy where I think he sort of like spells out the theme of the movie and talking about, like, he says to her, it gets harder to remember that this version of you still deserves to exist and that you are still worth something. And I think that's sort of like the lesson that the main character is supposed to learn, but she never does.
Right. It's got a really good meaning behind it, honestly. Like, it really does hit a lot of people. I mean, even young people nowadays, it's like body dysmorphia is a real thing, and feeling like you're not valued because, you're not what you once were potentially, or you changed, you just got older.
And there's sort of like in the very, very beginning of the movie, there's like a representation of that with her star. Like, we see the process of it getting made, and then we see everyone like taking pictures with it and like, oh my God, it's Elizabeth Sparkle. And then like as the years go by, the star starts to crack, and then like people are walking by and like, do you remember what she was in? Like, all right. And then like literally people are just walking over it without even looking, and some dude drops his hamburger on it and
Like,
just like
clears it back to the box. It keeps going. Yeah.
pretty much just a 20-second like version of what this movie is saying.
Right. Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
The shots in this movie, there's a lot of really cool camera angles. I mean, like, from that aging portion to the very beginning starts with an egg that they put the substance into, and it like splits into two.
Yeah.
So that also kind of tells you what's going on. It's one egg, but it has two yolks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Basically just to like give you a hint as to what the substance does.
right.
Which, I mean, like, we've already given the spoiler warning. I'll cut this before that, but like, definitely if you haven't seen this movie, watch it without watching anything else, because I feel like the less you know, the better.
I didn't know anything about what this movie was.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went into it.
I will say, like I mentioned, all of the men in the movie are kind of gross, but the producer guy, his name is Harvey. He's played by Dennis Quaid, and he is just, every time he's on screen, I'm like, ugh.
And like, they make you hate him.
Right.
Like, you hate this fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's just the worst. He is just using the women. He doesn't give a fuck about. It's just the worst guy.
Yeah.
The worst dude you can imagine.
He has
Such a prick.
he has a scene early on where he's eating shrimp, but like in the most disgusting way possible.
I know it is the close-up shot of him eating. and like him like dunking the shrimp in like the sauce, like.
Yeah, just insane.
And then what is the question that she asks him?
Um,
And he's like,
because he says like after 50 it ends, and she's like, "What ends?"
yeah.
And then he gets like really awkward, and then some other guy walks in. He's like, "Hey,
Hey, buddy, is it Gongo? Different things. So she at one point goes to the doctor for what, like a checkup? Why was she at the doctor again?
I think just for it because
Yeah,
I mean, like she's getting older, so just
yeah. When you get old and brittle, you go to the doctor more, I guess. Anyway, so I thought it was really strange that we find out later that the old guy that like followed her that is also doing the substance, and apparently there's only 2 people doing this.
well, there's like that's another note I had is because when she goes to the like locker room, there's only like 12 lockers.
Yeah, 12 lockers, but 2 of them have numbers on them.
Do the rest not? I didn't even notice they didn't
Yeah.
have numbers.
None of them have numbers on them except for 2.
Yeah, it's like this. I guess it's like a black market drug, so it's like not very widely used.
Yeah.
Kind of weird that there's only 2 people.
Right, right. And so, like, the old guy who's also doing this, we find out later on, has, like, his younger double, and the younger double is, like, this really beautiful dude who's a nurse?
Yeah.
Or, like, an assistant in the hospital. And I thought it was really strange when she went for a checkup. He was like, "One more chest," and he like checks her breathing, and like he like first off rips open the back of her gown, and then like it's like feeling her spine. And I'm like, okay, well, eh, are you like one of the creators of this? Or
Think so.
right, but then like, why was it the other double, or the other version of herself, but different mind, whatever you want to call it? Why wasn't she also like that? Like, trying to get people to do this? Or that's what I don't get. It's like,
I think she was just too self-centered. The other guy was like noticed that she was having a hard time and was just like trying to help. Like, hey, I'm using this drug and it helped me, so maybe it'll help you.
huh. But, like, I feel like the 2 people, they're 2 different consciences. Like, they don't share the same memories. They don't.
Well, that's another thing is yeah, I was very confused about that because it seems like they
Like, not.
yeah, I don't they keep saying it's not there is no she, you're the same person, but I'm like, but are they?
Right.
Because like every time one of them wakes up, they're like surprised by what happened.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God, she didn't clean up after herself. And I'm like, you didn't clean up after yourself.
Right.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. So, there's quite a few confusing parts in the movie for me personally that I just don't understand.
It honestly kind of reminded me of like the show Severance, which I know I've talked about before, but also has like it's a little bit different because it's like in Severance it's one body and 2 personalities, but this is like you also get an entire separate body, but then they're still saying that you're the same. I don't know.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a separate.
So yeah,
Just in a movie form. Right. Interesting. Yeah.
I did think I don't this I guess is just the vibe of it. I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with the plot of the movie, but the studio, the carpet in the hallway is very similar to the carpet in The Shining, and also the restroom that she goes into in the beginning looks almost exactly like the restroom in The Shining,
Huh.
and like close enough that there's no way it wasn't intentional, but like there really aren't any other connections to The Shining in the movie, so I think it was just like a visual homage. But
Interesting.
yeah,
I didn't think of that. Yeah, true.
but I saw
Dude, the
that
white
but I was like,
restroom.
huh. Yeah.
The white restroom, I was like, is this because I haven't watched Severance. But KK has, and it's like when you're in the building, it's all white.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, oh, what's going on? Like,
But yeah, not
so strange.
not her bathroom at her house, but the bathroom at the studio with like the red sink.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The exact same color scheme as there's a restroom in The Shining. I was like,
Oh,
interesting.
little fun thing in there for you. What did you think about when the 2 bodies were like
Separating.
separating?
I think that something this movie does very well, which adds to the kind of weird feeling that you get, is by making something gross and sexy at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it's a very fine line to balance, because like if you go too far in one direction, then the other one gets lost. But this one, you're just like back and forth, and you're just like, ugh. But then there's like close up shots of like oily butts, and you're like, damn. And then it's like, ugh, again.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's just so interesting. I don't know exactly how to review the movie because I just don't. It's just something about it just doesn't mesh. But like you said, like the new younger version of herself, like when she comes to be, she's like sexy and like really does like get the people going, and then
And it's very like intentional with the camera angles they use. Like before the birthing scene,
yeah,
like Elizabeth is looking at herself in the mirror and she's naked, and it's very just like matter of fact, like, yep, this is just a naked person.
right.
And it's like still camera angle behind her, and just like, I don't know, nothing's really going on. And then when
Yeah, and it makes you feel like how she, I think, is feeling in the mirror. She's like looking at herself like,
And then when Sue comes out and is looking at herself in the mirror, you get like the slow pan down with the camera.
the boobs, like slow panning over the tit,
Yeah.
and like the body shape, and yeah, and then the old version is just fucking laying on the floor.
Head down.
Also, dude, what a fucking handyman Sue is.
Yeah. Oh my God. First of all, what?
First of all, she has like superhuman strength.
I will say I was thinking about that, because there's a scene earlier where we see Elizabeth like has a maid, but then she goes like 2 weeks with just having a body in her bathroom. I was like, how is no one gonna find that?
Right.
And then she finally like, oh, I should probably hide this. And I was like, good choice.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, ain't no way she made that clean of a hidden door by herself.
Unbelievable.
Like she's a movie star, not a fucking handyman.
Right. Like, so we find out at one point that she's one and really fucking good handyman. She's a sexy superstar, knows how to dance and everything, and is like superhuman strength.
Yeah. So that comes up towards when they're fighting.
Right.
Fucking
She kicks her like.
across the room. Insane.
I was watching it, I was like, okay, now it's getting like a little more weird.
Yeah.
Like it was like I understood it was more believable the whole movie through, but then like it got to this point where she's trying to kill this lady.
Kicks her so hard that blood is like spraying up into her face.
Yeah.
I'm like, how hard do you have to kick someone for that to happen?
Right. There's like glass shards everywhere, and she has no shoes on too. And she's just fucking beating the shit out of this lady.
Yeah. Wild.
Wild. And there's just so many gross scenes in this movie. I mean, just the brutal death of it is just one thing, but also like when she keeps stealing the spinal fluid, and like you slowly see like where she like inserts the needle, it started to get like more and more infected. She's just like, I don't give a fuck, like give me more. I'm just like, bro, so
I will say also, like, obviously she manages to figure it out, but like there are basically zero instructions. Like with the little
oh yeah, no,
the little notes is just like, make sure you switch back and forth, but it's like it doesn't tell you that you need spinal fluid. Like she just guesses that that's what she needs to grab.
big old needle. She's like,
Yeah, spinal fluid probably. Right. And then she just like sticks it in her leg. I'm like, are you allowed to do that? Like, what if you had to put it in your spine? Like there's nothing telling her how to use this process.
so true, so true.
I also thought it was fun. I guess like it's kind of interesting because Elizabeth is kind of like on the fence the whole movie. Like obviously she doesn't like herself, and that's why she goes through this whole thing.
Yeah.
But then at the same time she has like a fucking giant photo of herself in her living room, and I'm like, that takes some kind of vanity. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I do like I think the second time she turns into Sue, the note I put was the cool crisp flavor of Diet Coke. It's literally just cuts to a close up of her going.
Yo,
Peppa's like, all right.
okay.
I also wonder, like, I obviously was a little baby child in the 90s, but like, were exercise shows that big of a
I
deal?
don't think they were.
Because like she looked like I can't imagine her getting invited to do like a New Year's Eve show off of an exercise show.
I
Like
know.
it
Yeah.
seems weird to me.
But he did say like the ratings went like from 43 to like 256 or something nuts. Whatever ratings are. I don't know even what the cap is or what that means, but I do recall like
But like the only exercise shows I remember ever seeing were like closer to the one at the beginning where it's like some dude or woman in their like 60s and it's like they look fit for an old person.
Yeah.
Like this isn't breaking charts.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's inflated too, but I can understand if like back in the day, like some sexy girl is like twerking and like doing all these sexual motions and has tits popping out, and I get the sexual appeal that fucking gross men could just be like, yeah, like the fucking neighbor across from her. He's like, I just saw your show. Like, you're coming over tonight. Let's date.
He's like, if you ever need anything, day or night.
Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck, no. What did he say? Like he has a big hammer? Like,
My God. I also I don't know. I guess those food bags are vacuum sealed, but there were a couple shots where it looked like there was a lot of air going in these people's veins.
yes,
So I was like, that can't be good.
right. I mean, but none of this is probably good on, right? Like, the when like the food runs out and the bag's like crying up, like,
Was like, could have a fucking embolism.
dude.
I guess speaking of dudes, the one good guy, I think his name is Fred, runs into Elizabeth outside of the doctor. I think it's right after it's right after she gets the USB drive
Yeah.
and runs into Fred, and he apparently is like a classmate from I think he said 10th grade or something like that.
Yeah. And he is obsessed with her. He's like the most sweet dude. He's like, you still look so beautiful, right? And he's like the wholesome part of the movie.
Definitely
one-
like is missing some social skills.
Yeah, a little bit, like a little bit stressed.
Tries to write his number down, drops it in a puddle, and then still gives it to her. I'm like, dude, just write your number again.
Yeah. He was just so nervous. Like, it's like, she's like the wet paper. And then like, it's nice that she also kept it.
Yeah.
Right. So at one point in the movie, it's like her turn to, be awake again. And she's just feeling real shitty about herself. So she calls him up and he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you gave me a call. And he's like all nervous. And then they decide to meet up at one point for a date. And she sees her, she gets ready. She's looking great. And then she's like, I need to put more makeup on. And then she's like, I need to put different lipstick on. And then she goes to the door on these sleeves, sees herself in the doorknob, is like, I look terrible. And then she fucks everything.
Almost leaves like 3 times, and the whole time I'm just like, just fucking open the door. Just open the door, girl.
Yeah.
But she keeps like, the first time she like put on the makeup and then she noticed that her like hidden room, the door was open. And then she walks over and sees the other. She's like, I'll never be that beautiful.
Right.
And so it's just like, she's getting into her own head about it and like keeps trying to go back to add more. And then, she just like fucking can't take it anymore and
Just fucking freaks out.
ruins her makeup and stares out. And then we see like fucking
Heck.
poor Fred at the restaurant.
He's like, hey, where are you? I know you, I know you superstars like making an entrance. Were you okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
He being stood up. And then we don't hear from
Yeah, that's it. Movie. That's it.
Oh, it sucked so bad.
I also think putting the obviously they had no way to know that it's the same person, but like they're purposely their purpose, like the ad in the newspaper said, who wants to be the next Elizabeth Sparkle? So they know they're replacing her.
Yeah.
And then to put the billboard right in front of her apartment,
Right there.
fucking villain work.
Dude, the biggest billboard too. It's massive. And yeah, at one point it's like the scene where the old version of her is like freaking out, like making the most disgusting food. It's like a disgusting food scene. So there's people out there that probably have like this disgust for food, I'm guessing, and like she's just making the most gross shit, and like she throws eggs at like the TV at the window, then covers the window with newspaper, and then
I think she was just trying to get back at the other version, like,
things.
I'm gonna fuck this house up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely what she was doing. But it's also like she started freaking out. She kept seeing this fucking other version in the window.
There was an interview on, I noticed this was another thing. The interview that she was on the back of the like cue cards that the host was holding, it just said the show.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, it's just
But she's on this interview like straight trash talking Elizabeth and like, well, obviously we're from a different generation, and I wouldn't really say I watched her show, but my mom had it on all the time, so
yeah. Oh my god. And then like when they both wake up and they're like shocked and she starts chasing her, and then not just the kicking scene was weird. I feel like when she was smashing her head into the mirror,
God. I literally
was like,
could not. I don't often yell at my TV, but this movie did that to me quite a few times.
really?
Like I was like, "Holy shit, stop!" Like she just kept fucking bashing her face into the mirror.
Yeah. And she like crawled away, and then she started fucking kicking the shit out of her. I was like,
Even like this is the very first thing when she wakes up, like flying knee throws her into the picture.
yeah,
Wild.
it's just nuts. Like the whole, I don't know. And I feel like if she would have thought it through, like, oh, now they're both awake. Now she doesn't have to be asleep. She just has to borrow spinal fluid while she's awake.
Yeah.
And it's replenished.
Well, I think it's because she saw that she was trying to kill her with the termination fluid, which I like.
But like she didn't finish.
She used 90% of that.
Right.
Like, how did that not work?
Like this much was like the saving grace.
Right. It's like she's totally fine, no effect on her.
Weird. But maybe that's like the point of it. Like you use it and then they both wake up.
Like that was on purpose. I don't know.
Maybe. Interesting. I don't know. It's just a thought I just had, but could be.
Also, I will say the sound design in this movie really adds to the nasty factor.
Oh.
There's so many scenes. Yeah, like when they switch back and forth several of the times, like it starts with a first person shot and it's like waking up in the bathroom, and every time it's like, and you hear the heartbeat in the background. It's like, is it just gross noises?
Yeah. Or like when they're changing and they like fucking face plant straight into the ground. Or when it's like the very end, the monster.
Yeah.
And I just remember this one scene where it's like the monster is like getting ready to go to the show, and like it has the earring. That's nowhere to place. So she's like, doesn't have any ears, so she just sticks it into her head, bro. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, crazy sound design. I will say, I want that dragon robe. That looked cool as fuck.
That was pretty sick. And both versions wore it.
Yeah,
Which was like,
it's like it's a dope ass robe.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't have any more notes. Literally went over all the gross stuff.
Yeah, I will say it was kind of satisfying to watch Sue like reap the consequences towards the end. Like obviously once the monster thing happens, that's like a whole different thing. But like her, after she literally just murdered the other version of herself and then starts like losing teeth, and I was like, that's what you fucking get, ho.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Although she kept pulling them out, I was like, girl, what are you doing?
It's so funny. It's like she's like, and she had like the 3 teeth and you're missing, and she's like smiling at herself. Oh my god, yeah. All right.
When so the they call the third iteration is Monstro Eliza Sue, because it's both of them. And also, in addition to the earrings, when she's trying to like get all pretty, she tries to curl the 2 strands of hair and ends up just ripping them out with the curling iron.
That was looking at it.
Cuts the face out of the picture and glues it to her face.
And honestly, bro, I don't understand how, 1, someone let her into the building, and 2, none of the fucking dancers saw.
I mean, they were like giving eyes at each other. I think they just didn't know what to do.
I wouldn't know what to do. I would run away. And again, this movie is filled with boobs. I mean, I didn't expect
Literally
any boobs.
on stage, a fucking boob falls out of her head at
Out
once.
of her eye socket, bro. It grows out of her eye socket and then falls down.
Yeah.
It's like this movie is so fucking weird. And then it ends in like a way where I'm just like,
Yeah, literally, like after after the after the stage scene started, like my last note here is just what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like the last 10 minutes are bonkers.
My last note is spraying everyone with blood.
Yeah,
And
it
then
just
like
it goes crazy. It just
I don't,
and like she leaves stage and then she's like running down the hallway still spraying blood everywhere.
would I watch it again with a different group of people? Sure, maybe, but just to see their reactions.
I think it's also like it does balance. I mean, like we've been talking about, like, yeah, the movie is kind of gross, but it also like it's really funny at some parts.
It is. It is. And that's why that's why I don't have any problem with it. I don't like movies that just kind of end and like I feel like nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like unfortunately I got that from this movie. But I will say like the overarching theme I liked and like the funny parts I liked and it was shot really well.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my type of movie. And if it,
Yeah.
and if I was into this type of stuff, it'd probably be a 4 as well. But I don't know. If you don't like, weird psychologicals or if it just doesn't mesh well with your person, well, then this is just not it probably.
Yeah.
It's a fun watch maybe once, but then I don't know, it's funny but then not. It's such a
It's strange, but like yeah, especially the stuff at the end, I was both like grossed out, but I was also laughing the whole time because it was just so ridiculous.
right.
That then like even before the monster stuff, like there are like several scenes earlier that are just like they're funny in an awkward way.
Yeah, I feel
Like the stuff with Oliver, the neighbor, is such a fucking creep, but like kind of funny how gross he is.
right, right. I don't know. I feel like there's so many better ways it could have ended the movie. Like the different ending where it was more of like
Happy ending?
no, not a happy ending, but just like an ending that makes sense versus like her body falling over, exploding, and then like this little fucking octopus thing going away, and then like going the star, this looking up in the sky and seeing twinkling, and then this. What do you mean, Bill? What is that? And then it goes to black. And it's like, okay,
I think it was just like her. It took all of that for her to finally appreciate herself and be happy with who she is.
as an octopus?
Yeah.
That's fucking bad.
Well, because like even like
That shit pisses me off.
it, it can only get so bad, and like the lesson, yeah, like we were talking earlier, the lesson she had to learn was like, don't go chasing this better version of yourself. You just have to be happy with who you are. And it just turns out that after all of this bullshit, she turns to a literal monster, and like that's when she feels the prettiest when she's putting on her fucking earrings. And she's like, yeah, she like only time she feels pretty, and then she fucking explodes, and like the last little bit of Elizabeth is like, that's not bad. And then she dies.
It's so stupid. Oh, there's so many. I feel like for some reason, like horror movies always end so blandly. It's like Brad. It's like
I don't know. I thought it was good.
I guess it makes you like talk about it more or like think about it, but it doesn't do anything for me personally.
What would have been a better ending, you think?
Honestly, I feel like they could have ended that movie right when the monster got on stage and was like, "Thank you for everything for being here," and then
See, I would have thought that was a bad ending.
better than fucking.
Nah, that was that wording everywhere inconclusive though.
Well, I'm not like adding to it. I don't know. The blood squirting part and then her body blowing up was just weird to me.
It
Honestly, like the monster scene could have just
it
gone.
seemed like a like finally, I don't know how to describe it. Like the people that had been like making her feel that way and like being old is worth is like they were finally experiencing the horror of what she has been feeling on the inside.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. I guess it could have just ended with them all being squirted with blood.
Yeah,
I would have been happy with that.
I don't know if the outside stuff was necessary, but like it was.
I don't know. It was just so weird. Her walking down the hall, squirting blood, and then like her walking down like some steps, her leg fucking snapping off, falling forward, exploding, and then like this little thingy coming out of that body. I'm just like, I just don't know. It wasn't even like that gross, honestly. Like the sewing up of the spine at the very beginning and like tying it off and snipping it.
I don't know how she like knows how to do stitches.
Right.
She can fucking make a hidden room.
Strong as fuck, knows how to do construction work really fucking well. I don't know.
Also, I know people actually have hidden doors, but like usually those things are like have some sort of like an automatic
Like-
closer or something. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you actually close that door? Because like you can't pull on it because your fingers would get in the way. But like there's no handle.
Right, and it was also like left open at one point, so you can't be like, oh well, it's on a spring that automatically closes.
So I'm like, I don't know how you close that door. So maybe it's just not that good.
Yeah, true. Movie magic, baby, movie magic. I don't know. Yeah, overall, I mean, it was a really well produced movie, I would say, from what, 17 million?
Yeah.
I mean, makeup, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Apparently there's this one, the actual actress who played the main character, she like took a picture, KK told me about this, she like took a picture or a selfie of her with like all that makeup, the monster makeup on.
Yeah.
And it was apparently like really crazy.
I was watching something apparently. So Margaret Qualley, who plays Sue, after having to wear the Monstro makeup,
Yeah.
it like something about, I don't know if it was the glue or the prosthetics, but like gave her really bad acne. And then she decided to like use that for the next movie that I don't remember what the movie she did after this was called, but like in that movie, she has acne and it's from this movie.
No way. Oh, that's great. Perfect. Rules blending into each other. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything more to say. Fun. I guess like half a fun watch for me personally. Definitely a movie you should watch. I think it's really well done.
But again, I mean, too late if you've listened to this, but watch it without watching this and don't watch any trailers and don't read anything. Just go and see the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get into trivia. Margaret Qualley revealed in interviews that her breasts in the movie are not her own. They are prosthetics designed by French makeup artist Pierre-Olivier Person, or Percy. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Which one is that? Is that the younger or older? The young one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, Demi Moore has like, she looks pretty damn. I think she was 59 when this movie. Let me check. Hold on. Yeah, 59 when they were filming, but looked pretty damn good for a 59-year-old woman.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Margaret Qualley, also beautiful young lady, but is pretty flat-chested. So to match Demi Moore's body proportions,
see.
they had to give her fake boobs.
I see. Dude, one thing that KK also told me was that the young actress's mother watched the movie.
Yeah.
And she practically was like, I don't want anyone in our family to watch this movie. And she was like, well, I don't know either.
I really do like and I mean like the director's a woman, so like it's all intentional and it's not like purposely ogling, but also is definitely purposely ogling. But like they were very heavily objectifying her.
Oh my God, yeah.
And like there's literally a scene where everyone in the studio gathers around and they're going frame by frame on a giant ass shot.
Huge ass shot. By the way, another fucking weird scene we'd even talk about where she like goes into the room and like pulls a chicken leg out of her fucking belly button.
Fucking weird.
What? There's so many parts in this movie that just don't make sense to me, bro. And apparently that chicken leg was like in her ass, but then I feel like it was like kind of like a dream, but then it wasn't.
Yeah, I think that might have just been her imagination.
I don't understand.
Demi Moore said that she was nervous about filming full nudity at age 59 and felt vulnerable, but credited co-star Margaret Qualley, who was 29 at the time of filming, with making her feel comfortable on set.
I feel like she did great. She looked great for 59. I mean, what?
Dennis,
I get it though. I mean, fuck yeah.
I mean, I know like with most movies, this has gotten a lot better in the past like 20 years or so, but they're like very careful with nude scenes in movies, and usually they'll have what's called a closed set. So like only people crucial to the scene are in the room. So that helps as well to just like have like the actor, the director, and like maybe one other person. Yeah.
Right.
But still, like I can't imagine just being naked in front of that many people. Like,
No chance.
Dennis Quaid ended up eating 4 pounds of shrimp for that scene.
You're kidding. Was it actually him that only ate that?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I guess I don't know how many takes they did, but yeah, I guess if you just like go again, you're like, all right.
Well, I love shrimp.
Director Coralie Farge used her own arm for the shots showing the needle being injected. Oof. So yeah, I think I was reading they did, after all of the actors were done, they did another like month of filming that they called the lab shoot, which they used for all the like close-up shots. I feel like when, because I've given blood several times, and I feel like usually I'm not, like, I don't know, I'm not afraid of needles or anything like that. And it's like, I don't want to see it, but I also don't want to not see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like often, like, when you're giving blood, they'll be like, you can turn away or whatever while they're sticking the arm. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking watch.
Right. Yeah. This movie is so strange. Like the fact that like it's like you're there.
Yeah.
Like you're
It is a lot. Oh yeah, that's another thing that the director did, was for a lot of the POV shots, she was wearing a costume, and then she had like a helmet with a camera on it, and she was just doing all of those shots.
Yeah. Fucking nuts. What the hell? The fact that she used your own arm is so fucking strange.
The movie was filmed entirely in France. Elizabeth's apartment view of LA is a giant fabric backdrop with a printed photo of Los Angeles.
Fucking way. That's so funny. It's even more funny because when she like retired or was fired, whatever you want to call it, he gave her like that cookbook and he was like, it's in French. What the fuck?
Harvey, the sleazy producer played by Dennis Quaid, is named after disgraced producer Harvey Weinstein.
Got him.
This movie received an 11-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival.
Damn, that's crazy.
According to the director, after Universal execs saw the film, they demanded the ending be changed, as well as the film being recut, feeling that it was too horrific for mainstream audiences, but Farge refused as it would go against her contractual final cut privilege. Thus, they pulled the film's distribution, prompting her to shop the film to other studios after its success at Cannes, ultimately resulting in Mubi releasing it in most countries, where it surpassed Priscilla to become the streaming service's highest-grossing film.
Wow. So the biggest... wait, what? So
it was originally going to be distributed by Universal. They said, we want you to change the movie, and the director said no. So they said, okay, fuck your movie. And so she went and ended up selling it to Mubi, which is a streaming service.
Oh,
and so they have the rights to this now.
That's crazy. I don't think the ending was like that disgusting or gross. I wonder why Universal thought it wouldn't like fit in. It's a cool fact.
Despite being a favorite to win the Oscar by most critics and fans, Demi Moore ultimately lost to Mikey Madison from Anora. Fans were quick to comment on the irony that Moore's performance in a film about ageism in the entertainment industry, where her job was given to a much younger woman, ultimately lost the Oscar to one of the youngest winners in the category's history.
Jeez.
Demi Moore did win a Golden Globe, though.
Crazy.
The film shares an overarching narrative with Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is about a man who manages to avoid aging by allowing the signs of aging to appear on a painting of him rather than his real body. However, instead of merely showing the signs of aging, the portrait ends up becoming progressively more monstrous as a reflection of Gray's immoral behavior. Gray hides the portrait by moving it into a more private room and ends up stabbing it, which results in him dying.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
For the New Year's Eve scene, a fire hose was used to spray over 30,000 gallons of fake blood onto a room full of background actors.
Yes. All from one body is pretty chill. That's nuts. That's so fucking funny.
And the initial mirror shot where Sue is checking herself out was achieved by creating 2 identical sets and then having a body double on our side matching Margaret Qualley's movements on the mirror side.
That's pretty sick.
Because there's a point at which it zooms like into her eyeball and then goes back out, and like would be really hard to do in camera with a real mirror. So rather than doing a mirror, they just like had Margaret Qualley here and the camera here, and then when they back out, there's a body double on this side.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So that's it for trivia.
That's crazy.
That means it's time to get wrecked. I wrote mine down this time because I struggled last week.
All right, you're up.
My recommendation for this week is going to be a restaurant called Brothers Barbecue. It is local to Colorado, so I don't know if they have locations in other states, but if you live in Colorado or you happen to be visiting Colorado, try to find a Brothers Barbecue because it is so fucking good.
Oh, I'll have to go then. Shit. My Rick would have to be a video game called Valorant.
Nice.
Valorant is, I mean, I guess it's been around for a while. Every now and then I watch it, and it gets a competitive scene, but it's like a first person shooter kind of thing, and there's different abilities and different characters. It's pretty fun. It's you got to be good with aiming with your mouse to get into it. But my buddies and we played it last night, and it's quite addicting, but definitely worthwhile.
Nice. Yeah. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family about us. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell icon. Otherwise, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. You can also follow us on Bluesky and Instagram at CashFanPod. If you want to send us a message, you can DM us, leave a comment, or send an email to casualfanaticpodcast@gmail.com. Links for all of that are in the description. Why don't you tell them what kind of messages they can send us?
You guys can send us anything from recommendations of movies that you would like us to review, of your own thoughts regarding, one of our podcasts, one of our episodes, anything additional that you really like about the podcast, or even cool things that you think would be fun to add. Give us practically any of your thoughts, but definitely let us know if there's a movie that you want us to watch, if there's a show that you would want us to review. Throw that into, a comment that you could send us, or comment below in the video. Yeah, and we'll check it out.
And on that note, this has been Casual Fanatic. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.